So this is the masthead of William Lloyd Garrison's original abolitionist newspaper, but it's colorized because it's the Liberator dot today. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. The awful weight of hopelessness is one of the reasons why I've embarked on a year-long study of hope. How about you? How are you feeling? What has been your general experience of last month or of last year? My name is Lowell Bliss. Welcome to episode 8 of the Liberator Today's video series on hope. Is hope an emotion? I think I'm going to go the same route as what Dallas Willard taught about love. Love and hope are primarily conditions. We can condition ourselves in the love of God or in the hope of the Lord so that they become natural responses to how we interact with the world. Nonetheless, I think the word hopefulness is an emotion. People say I'm feeling hopeful. I've had those moments. But I would probably be more likely to identify it as excitement or joy or anticipation. I'm more familiar with identifying hopelessness as an emotion. It feels deadly. We talk about suicidal thoughts. Why don't we use the phrase suicidal emotions? Hopelessness may be a variant of depression. We could call it depression without prospects. It's like the joke, why are New Yorkers so depressed? Because the light at the end of the tunnel is New Jersey. Hey now, I know I have some New Jersey viewers. I stumbled upon a story of a military chaplain meeting with a young man newly arrived back from Iraq. The soldier had TBI and PTSD from the explosion of an IED. And aren't all these new acronyms part of the new hell we endure? He was being medically discharged from the Marines. His disorder did not allow him to drive, and he despaired of being employable. Finally, his wife told him, "John, you are not the man I married. I want a divorce." John told the chaplain, "All that I had ever hoped for in life is gone. My career as a Marine, my marriage, my identity as a contributing member of society. There's no hope for me. Now I'm back home in the house in which I grew up. And I hear Mama's words mocking me. God has great hopes for you. So tell me, chaplain, what is God's great hope for me? You tell me. I want to know." I found this story because I was using Google to help me locate a suitable psalm about hopelessness. But all my searches went immediately to those cheery, uplifting psalms which we all wish could flick the switch for us emotionally. But this chaplain was wiser. He writes, "Initially, as I sat with John in his deep despair, my heart's response was to echo the deep hurt that I was hearing, provide John with time for lament. I did not want to be like Job's so-called friends in Scripture who were simply miserable comforters, giving person in deep despair the safety and freedom to lament openly can bring tears of healing. The laments we hear in Scripture can also comfort us because we learn that God desires us to be genuinely honest with our entire range of emotions." The chaplain began with the psalm to give voice to John's hopelessness, just as it gave voice to King David's hopelessness and to ours, even to Jesus' emotions, since much in Psalm 69 is messianic. Save me, O God, for the waters have come up to my neck. I sink in the miry depths where there is no foothold. I've come into the deep waters. The floods engulf me. I am worn out, calling for help. My throat is parched. My eyes fail looking for my God. You know, when David first mentions the miry, overwhelming waters, these are simple statements of feeling. When he circles back around to this language in verses 14 through 17, he will add a petitionary element. Deliver me. But even then, it isn't simply initialing items on a petitionary contract. It's a heart-wrenching cry to God, as real as what John asked of the chaplain. Rescue me from the mire. Do not let me sink. Deliver me from those who hate me, from the deep waters. Do not let the flood waters engulf me, or the depths swallow me up, or the pit close its mouth over me. Answer me, Lord. Out of the goodness of your love, in your great mercy, turn to me. Do not hide your face from your servant. Answer me quickly, for I am in trouble. Next week, I'll be joined by my wife, Robin, who is a spiritual director. I'll ask her what God intends for an emotion like hopelessness. I'll ask her how we can effectively get out from under some of the deadliness. But this week, heed the words of this nameless chaplain. Lament is a practical act. Reading psalms of lament is a practical exercise. In the end, we'll make the argument that public lament is a tool to achieve the change we hope for. It's not just an outcry of the problem, it's an outworking of the solution. Will you name it? If appropriate, can you say out loud to God, perhaps in the presence of a trusted friend, I feel or have felt hopeless? Here are some psalms of lament which can assist your voice. Psalm 73 may describe the trajectory of our whole study. Despair, that the wicked will prosper, but then the turn, verse 17, when we proactively enter the sanctuary of God for reflection. And then the conclusion, verse 28, the alternative possibility. Quote, but as for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge. I will tell of all your deeds. That's where I want to be by the end of 2018. I am Lowell Bliss, Christian environmental missionary and climate activist. Thank you for visiting the Liberator today.